friends, it's Cheryl, the Wandering House Sitter. And today I'm here to talk about house sits that I personally would not accept, but maybe other people think it would be an absolute amazing place to house sit. Now, when it comes to house sits, location is the most important thing for just about everybody. For example, large cities across the world, capital cities, major cities, places that have a lot of things for tourists to do. Those are going to be very popular on all the house sitting websites out there. I can give you an example. I applied to a house sit in London, England, 3 years ago in 2023. And, London, very popular, right? And I got the house sit. And the homeowners told me afterwards that they had over 70 applicants. So that's just how popular London is. And they had a great location, they nice quiet neighborhood, walking distance to the underground. We call it the subway in this part of the world. It is on the Piccadilly line, which is one of the most popular, well-known lines of the underground, the tube that goes around London. And it was in northern London. This was the second to last stop, about a 15-minute walk to the subway. So to the underground. So once I get on the underground, I can get into the main tourist areas of London. I can get everywhere. So just let you know that something like that would be a perfect house sit for a lot of people. There's it's modern conveniences and all that sort of stuff. But I wrote an article on my blog, and I'll put a link to in the description below. And the article is about the top reasons that homeowners struggle to find house sitters. And usually the number one reason is location. Obviously, that house sit in London, plenty of interest from prospective house sitters. House, a farm out in the boonies somewhere in Quebec might not be as appealing to house sitters to apply for. So a lot of times I see these sits, I just simply do not apply to them because there's location, how close it is to transportation, if it's in another country. These things are important to me. If I am house sitting in Canada, I tend not to house sit in Canada in the winter because of the weather. I'm trying to do the snowbird thing. If you've been following my blog and my YouTube channel, you knew I spent 6 months in Latin America this past year. Like I said, I'm at that age now. Snowbird, get out of the cold weather. And so I get homeowners contacting me all the time, and the house might be perfectly fine. It might be wonderful in the summer months, but I get people in northern Ontario and all over Manitoba. They're going away for the winter. Well, who can blame them? You want to get out of that cold for sure. But I'll see their ad come up, and eventually I always know they're going to contact me, and they almost always do. I have a lot of really great reviews on my house sitting website. So I just want to talk about a very recent homeowner who contacted me, and unfortunately this would not be at all interesting to me. I've got to keep my little cheat sheet here on my phone so I don't forget any of the key details on this house sit. So to start off with, like I say, the homeowner contacted me. I get that a lot. They're going away for 1 month in the winter. And where do they live? In the Yukon. Does everybody know where the Yukon is? Can everybody think of where America is? Canada is right on top of America, and the Yukon is right above Canada. The Yukon is in northern Canada, and to kind of give you some clarity, if people know where Alaska is, Yukon's kind of close. Yukon does share a border with Alaska. So that tells us a lot. If we know a little bit about Alaska, we know it gets very cold there in the winter months, and good possibility that there's going to be a lot of snow as well. So the Yukon is no different. So this homeowner is about I think she said about 75 miles outside of Whitehorse, which is the capital city of Yukon. There's about 30,000 people that live in Whitehorse. And the 75 miles out of town by gravel road Yeah, it's infrastructure not so good in northern Canada, and it probably isn't all that great in northern part of Alaska either. So what does she have? She has a small cabin. There is a shower and a sink inside, and apparently there's a full kitchen. I don't quite know what a full kitchen is, but there is no toilet inside the cabin. There is an outhouse. I don't know about you, but I don't want to be freezing my ass off, literally going to an outhouse in the Yukon or Alaska or anywhere else that gets way below freezing temperatures in the winter. No, not for me. And here's another thing that I do not accept house sits for. If it's a house sit that has a wood burning stove and it's winter months, I would freeze to death. I cannot light a fire and keep a fire going in a fireplace to save my life. Literally, I would freeze to death. I just can't. I've never got the hang of it. Going back years and years, I would try to start a fire in our the old family house, in the fireplace. The log wouldn't light, so I'd chuck it out the backyard. Eventually, my father would see these cut up, lumber out in the backyard and bring it back in the house, and he'd manage to get the fire going. But that's the other thing I can't do. I can't chop firewood. Okay, so and the other selling feature, if that outhouse wasn't enough, the bedroom is is upstairs, and to get there you climb a ladder. Okay, I did have a loft bedroom when I was in my 20s. I was working on a horse farm, and they had built a new barn for the horses. So I was the first person living in the apartment that was attached to the horse barn. And it was really great. I had a loft bedroom. I could overlook the kitchen and the living room area. The bathroom was right underneath the loft bedroom. So it was a pretty small living space, but it was just me. I didn't have a lot of stuff back then. Hey, I don't have a lot of stuff now either, now that I'm a nomad. But scampering up a ladder into the loft bedroom, no problem when you're in your 20s. And that's jump ahead 40 years. Once you hit your 60s, you don't want to be climbing ladders at all, and especially up to get to your bedroom. So not working well for me. So outhouse, ladder. Oh, the property's on 7 acres, and it's fenced. And she specifically told me it was fenced because it keeps the bears out. Well, I don't know about you, but I have seen plenty of bears on videos climbing over fences and getting into people's yards. So, no way is a fence going to stop a bear. And I'm pretty sure those are probably grizzly bears up in the Yukon. Around the greater Vancouver area where I grew up, it's mostly black bears. They can be vicious at times, but usually black bears tend to keep their distance from people, and it's just kind of like surprise. I ran into a black bear last summer when I was on a house sit on a farm on Vancouver Island, and the bear went one way and I went the other way. Yeah, that was heart stopping. So no, I would not like to see a bear, and that fence isn't going to keep it out because I watched that black bear go over the property owner's fence and into the adjacent property. So there is also a yurt on this property, yurt, Y-U-R-T. The yurt actually looks pretty big. It looks bigger than the cottage, but there's no electricity out there. Yeah, um, and that's the thing, I'm a modern convenience girl. I like indoor plumbing. I like electricity. So this just isn't really going to work out at all for me. And a wood stove, yeah, I need one of these little dials on the wall where I can adjust the temperature that's coming through forced air in the heating duct somewhere. So unfortunately, not a good sit for me. And the homeowner is really trying to sell it, and said, yeah, you can come up here. It's great for skiing and snowshoeing. Well, it's been about at least 20 years since I last has been on skis. So the older you get, the least likely you want to fall and have an accident on a ski hill. So no, I don't think I'll probably ever go skiing again for the rest of my life. And snowshoeing, well, I've never done it. I've watched people trying to do it on shows like The Amazing Race. They put on snowshoes for the first time and they just fall all over the place. So I'm afraid snowshoeing doesn't really have a lot of appeal to me either. But there you have it. That was a hard no for this house sit. But actually, I was able to kind of soften the blow because, as luck would have it, almost every time when a homeowner reaches out to me, I'm already busy. I've already got a house sit scheduled for that time, or I'm off summer traveling, and that's this situation in this case. So we'll just chalk this house sit up. Um, no bears that can't climb over fences, no outhouses, no uh, wood burning stoves, no places where you have to light candles in order to see. Just isn't going to work out. So anyway, and freezing temperatures. We're talking winter months up in that part of the world, way below freezing every day of the winter. And they're long winters up there. There's not a lot of daytime. I'm not quite sure what hours. You might see daytime maybe between like 11 a.m. and 2 p.m. or something. So I you know, maybe I could live with that, maybe not, but it's just the cold temperatures and the outhouse and the possibility of running into a bear going back and forth to the outhouse. No, no, not going to freeze my ass up in that part of the world. So there you have it. This is a house sit that is a hard no for me. And best of luck to the owner trying to sell this and find an appropriate house sitter. But I have to say no to this house sit. So this is Cheryl, the Wandering House Sitter, and thanks for watching today. Bye for now.